You meet someone, they tell you their name, and 3 seconds later it's gone. You're not rude. You're not careless. Your brain is actually doing something very specific. We've all been there. Someone extends their hand, says, "Hi, I'm Sarah," and by the time you say, "Nice to meet you," her name has already evaporated from your memory. If this happens to you often, you might think there's something wrong with your memory. But psychologists have discovered that forgetting names isn't a flaw. It's actually a window into how your brain prioritizes information. Today I'm sharing 3 types of people who forget names easily and what it really reveals about their mind. Type number 1 is the high-intelligence forgetter. This sounds counterintuitive, but research backs it up. Highly intelligent people often forget names because their brains are constantly filtering what matters. A name is arbitrary. It doesn't tell you anything about the person, but their face, their voice, their mannerisms. These things carry real information. Your brain, especially if it's highly active, is constantly deciding what to keep and what to discard. Names often get discarded because they're not useful for understanding who a person truly is. Einstein was famous for forgetting names. So was the Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman. They weren't absent-minded. Their brains were simply too busy with complex thinking to bother with labels. Type number 2 is the visual processor. There are 2 types of cognitive styles. Visual processors remember faces forever, but struggle with names. Verbal processors remember names easily but forget faces. Neither is better. They're just different ways of processing the world. If you're a visual thinker, you're probably the person who remembers someone's face years later but can't recall their name 10 seconds after meeting them. That's not a memory problem. That's your brain being wired to prioritize visual information over verbal information. Artists, architects, and designers often have this trait. Their brains are built for images, not labels. Type number 3 is the anxiety-driven forgetter. When you're nervous about meeting someone, your stress hormones spike. Cortisol floods your brain and interferes with memory formation. This is why you forget names in high-pressure situations like job interviews, first dates, or important meetings. Your brain is in survival mode. It's not worried about storing names. It's worried about getting through the interaction safely. The more you stress about forgetting names, the more you'll forget them. It's a self-fulfilling cycle. The pressure to remember, actually, makes your brain shut down the memory systems you need